What's up guys, this is Void of Dust Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content. Finally, the new marksman has been introduced to the game. It did not happen right from the start when the update has hit our mobile phones, but now Teeri is here, or Teeri, how she is referred to in other areas or other sections of the game on different servers. And we have a dual blade wielding champion in the marksman position that plays not entirely unique, but she brings a different playstyle to the game. And this should be part of the video that I'm going to talk in some in-depth game guide, because I played my first game with her, and it's going to be quite entertaining, I suppose, because you guys are going to see the first match I ever played with her. I've used her in the hero trial once, not even waiting until level 4, so I had to learn what the ultimate does while I was playing my first match, and maybe that's going to be part of today's gameplay, a steep learning curve with the new hero. But first of all, I want to start with the build that I have picked for Teeri for my very first match. So let's get started with the equipment section. So as you can see, we are building something that most of you guys might already know from my higher tier build. So we've got, of course, the war boots. Everyone who has seen my video on the top equipment that I have been releasing a couple of days ago will be quite familiar with the staple items that I have been postponing for most of the marksmen here. So war boots is more sorts of a staple mobility item for most of the marksman heroes. Then we're going with Favniers for some lifesteal and some attack speed. We're going to build Clave Sancti here for the additional critical damage as well as the critical chance. I've picked Yoga's Edge because I think it's actually quite interesting to have a slow on one of my items in order to have a better follow-up. Then I was using the Dawning Star for the armor penetration, and I went with Blade of Eternity for the resurrection abilities of that item. And I think that build is actually quite solid. That might be different if I kind of get to know Teeri a little bit better, but right from the start I had a good feeling with that. That said, when we're going into the enchantment section, as you can see, we're building mostly power items to increase our damage, or power enchantments to increase our damage. With the Axe of Sacrifice, we're going with Veda here for the increased crit chance coming from the equipment. And then we're going to have Holy Summoner, which is by far one of the most favored enchantments here in the game when it comes to marksman, because it's going to boost your damage by a good percentage. In the second section, I'm going with Raging Inferno as well as Lockheim with the Bone Cutter. I think Enhanced Restore as well as Gunslinger would have been the better choice, but that is in hindsight after I played the game, so it's kind of easy to say something like that after I have already been playing Teeri for once. When it comes to the Arcana, I have chosen my basic crit build with 10 times Atrocity, boosting our crit chance by 16%. Then we're going with RoV here for some additional lifesteal. I think Guerrilla is also quite favorable because you get attack speed with that item, and then we're going with Skewer. So I don't usually build RoV, but that's what the game was suggesting, and I went with it just to see how good it is, because I have never played RoV on a marksman before, and we're going to find out how good or how bad that item is after the end of today's gameplay. So if you like this kind of content and you dig for more, feel free to subscribe and leave a like as well as a comment, because it helps me to grow my channel without the algorithm. So thanks for watching the intro. Now let's get started with my first Teeri match ever, and a lot of question marks. Have fun. All right, here we go. We are on a dual lane with Lumber, a champion that I really like as my support companion, and we are going to face a Teeri with Grok. So something that you need to be aware of, because that hook can just ruin your day, and I can tell that this hook is going to be quite precise when I'm standing around, so be prepared for some entertaining hooks from Grug that I did not see coming and that I should have seen coming, but I didn't, and that's going to be quite painful throughout the game. But it is as it is, and I'm going to talk about my intentions that I had when I was playing the game, so you get a better understanding on what we were actually doing here. So first of all, as I don't really have an idea about the item or the sequence of our abilities, I went with the first ability first, upgrading the second afterwards, and I think that's actually quite okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to mark some of the opponents with your S1, and then you're going to have your S2 that's going to penetrate enemies behind the initial spot where the blade hit. So you are able to dish good amounts of damage into the lines behind the initial target, and I think that is your main source of damage, or where you are actually quite powerful and quite dangerous for the backlines, because it just means that you can penetrate them even while you are not standing close. As you can see, our blades are just going behind the minions, hitting the Teeri, or hitting Teeri and me behind it, and that's something that you need to be aware of, and it forces you to be a little bit more careful about your positioning. So Grug's hook, as I said, are actually quite painful, and I could not make it out alive here. In fact, I was a little bit surprised that Teeri was able to burst me down with the last hit. I had the feeling that I still had some life going on, but it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I used Sprint here as a talent. In hindsight, I would have been better off using Flicker, because I think repositioning yourself, especially for the ult, is a little bit better with Flicker. That said, Sprint is better for following up. But in my humble opinion, I think Flicker is better to disengage, while Sprint leaves some or gives the opponent some time to react if you press the button, and that's not the best talent that you can have on a marksman. Sometimes it does make sense, but in this case, as I said, I would have rather gone with Flicker instead. I think the value would have been a lot better, but it is as it is. I have been taken the talent, and now I have to deal with it. So first kill has been put on my account. The game so far is basically going back and forth. I think that Grug hook was a little bit too confident, so I have to destroy him here using my ultimate. As I said, I did not play the hero trial to level 4, so I was kind of assuming what it did, and at that point of the game I had not figured out that it has quite a long range, and you can actually use it from your resurrection point, as there are some parallels. If you have ever played Raven in League of Legends, you know the ult is basically the same, or at least it feels like it, just from its appearance and what it does on the battlefield. So I read something about Teeri today on Reddit, and someone was asking how strong or how good is Teeri right now in the meta compared to other marksmen. How does she play, or how is the feeling that you bring to the battlefield when you pick Teeri? And someone said she is basically a mix-up of different marksmen in other MOBAs, and I think that's actually quite true. I think that's actually quite precise. She feels as she is some mix between Severe in League of Legends and Raven, and that's about that. So I don't know. You guys need to play her and see for yourself if that works for you as well. I didn't have that crazy impression overall, but she's not as unique as Arena of Valor supposedly wanted her to be, but her damage output is actually quite crazy. So I think she's going to play a role, at least in casual games, for quite a while before people actually get a grip on her and get a better understanding on how she works and what she can does, especially how bursty she is when she uses all of her abilities, because I think she's a really good burst hero right now, and that's supposedly how you should play her. So that's my first impression after 5 minutes in game. That said, with 3 kills, I'm actually quite confident right now, so everything worked quite fine. And I would say let's have a look on the team composition after all, because that's something that we need to pay attention to. So we've got Pain in the jungle on both sides, pretty strong jungler, especially because he is a little bit unpredictable. You don't really know when he is about to appear, and that was complete bullshit. Positioning was the worst, and they did not only get the kill, but they also got the tower, and I should have made an entrance through the lane and not the jungle, and I would have been playing a lot safer, but unfortunately I didn't, as you guys have just seen. On the mage lane, we've got Kali versus Isha. I think Kali has a way better laning potential than Isha. Her laning phase is better, her kill pressure is better, so I think that is completely, that point goes to the opposing team. Way better mid laner. And then we've got Arta versus Omen on the solo lane, and I would say Omen is the preferred option here. I think Omen is a lot better than Arta. While Arta has really good denial potential with his ult, Omen is just a force to be reckoned, because he can single-handedly split push a complete lane by himself if he has the potential to roam. He has great dueling capabilities, so he can take on every single one of those heroes in the opposing team by himself and come out of that fight as a winner. And that said, I would say the overall game outcome is quite even, while I have to mention that Kali is going to be something that we need to deal with later on, because her ability to control and burst down minion waves is actually quite brutal, and she's got a lot of denying potential by just dealing with minion waves in a short duration of time and completely messing up that day without even asking about their names. And that's something that you need to be aware of and you need to put into consideration, because she's so strong. So this was actually something that I did not think I would be able to do. So I basically sidestepped Grug's hook by just staying in position, by just turning around and moving a little bit to the side. Now I was trying to get Arta, but he just flickered away. So nice flicker of that guy here. And because everyone was moving away, I thought we had pressure on the Darkslayer here. And as you can see, Pain tries to make an entrance, but I already started to zone him, dealing a lot of damage to this Arta here. So Arta has to move away, and Pain is now trying to hide behind the tower. But with the combined forces of our team, we were able to get not only the tower, but now put some pressure into Pain. And because I have great lifesteal here with Reeve, I don't have a problem killing not one, but two of the enemies. Unfortunately, Teeri's ult gets me, and this basically shows the potential that Teeri's ult has, because it is a long-range ult that you can apply from different places in the map. So be careful if your health is pretty low, because it might just be the case that she gets you even if you hide in a bush trying to get away, recalling back to base. So all in all, I think our team has the better performance right now after 10 minutes, because we had a better focus on the big minions, Abyssal Dragon and Darkslayer so far, and we have doubled the kills. So the game is looking quite bright right now, and if we manage to focus on team fights and try to win them, we should have that in our bag. But as I think the title is already mentioning, I kind of messed up because I was feeling a little bit too cocky. And it's already starting to build up, because I had the feeling I can take the world with this champion. New champion, new mechanic, so 6 kills was already building up my ego, and I was like, well, this is so easy. Teeri is really, really good. I can do everything that I want. So now let's get real and start to deal with them. Unfortunately, I was caught here, but because I have such good damage and lifesteal, I was able to get another kill on Grug. We do get a double kill on Arta. Now Kali is trying to kill us here. Pain comes in, and again, my lifesteal basically saves the day. And it's quite interesting because, as I said, it's the first time I used RoV in a match with a marksman, but it already has been paying itself back because at least 2 fights would have ended with a gray screen and a cooldown or a resurrection timer that I could avoid by just spamming my abilities to the fullest and killing Pain in both situations when he was trying to enter my radius and trying to kill me. So pretty good, I would say. So I'm considering to try out RoV a little bit more often, just in order to see if RoV is the better enchantment, because it does not mean that you need to build something like the Beast or the Bloodthirsty Bow. But as I said, that needs a little bit more playtesting because right now it's just a hypothesis, and I can't really. There has not been any empirical data on this so far, so this is going to be a test case. So damage output is really, 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 really good. She's firing her blades like there is no tomorrow. Now we do get another Slayer here. 25 versus 11 kills already. As I said, we're doing a really good job on that. So now there is another onslaught, 10 kills already for me, another kill for Isha. So Isha is doing really, really good. And now I try to use all of my abilities against Teeri, but unfortunately we did not have the meshes. And I think that team fight was played a little bit light-hearted, without fully committing our resources. As you can see, Omen is holding himself a little bit back, and I think for good, because as you can see, we have been destroyed in that team fight, giving the enemy team a possibility to come back into the game with Kali's crazy ability to just push into minion waves, and the minion clear is just out of this world, and her ultimate is a 20-second cooldown ultimate, which is going to be quite painful in the later stages of the game when she has even more power because of her items. So we are about to attack, regrouping, and I think the right choice right now would be to go for Abyssal Dragon. So we're trying to zone here a little bit, using some of my abilities against Teeri, but unfortunately, as you can see, she's also dishing a lot of damage into my little body, my poor little soul. And now I just decided to go into the jungle and use my RoV ability, or my RoV Arcana, in order to get some life back and restart with full health. I think that's a tactical surprise that you can be full health in about some seconds, and now we've got all the time in the world. I think that the flanking moment was super nice. So we do catch the enemy by surprise, completely annihilating most of the enemy team. Only Kali is standing, so it's Kali versus us. We are already level 15, she's level 14, and what I was trying to do was to try to get some, to deny some of the resources from the jungle, getting the red buff so that Pain doesn't have it. And now it's time to go into this tower sequence and put one little shot into the tower, and that's it. Kali is dead. Wow, that was easy. And I think what has already started and what's going to boost up right now in even crazier stances is that I get completely kill greedy and cocky, and I think I had a good impact on the outcome of the game because I felt so super safe with 11 kills that I had the feeling I can carry that game by myself. Of course, that is not true. You can't carry games like that with that mindset. And unfortunately, I did not refocus. I was hyped, I was psyched, and I wanted to win the game basically by just being there, killing everything in a short duration of time. And that is not a winner mindset. In fact, that's a mindset that is going to cause you to throw games. And I think that is what happened in the last 4 to 5 minutes. So again, super cocky. Grug is using his ultimate in not the best possible outcome. Now Pain enters the fight and tries to kill his opposing Pain. We do get Arta here without any problem, so that's another kill for us. And now I don't have the speed to follow up with a triple kill, and now it is our duty to kind of protect the Darkslayer, and I think that was the mistake. I thought that I can just use the Darkslayer in order to go into the enemy base and finish the game just by myself, as I already said. And now we've got Grug as well as Kali. Good hook from Grug. As I said, he's going to end you the games, and fortunately I had the revive and I had the measures, and now Lumber is here. Unfortunately, Grug is a little bit set off. So without that push, I think I would have been in range, but Teeri uses her ultimate in a very good manner, so I'm out of that fight. My team has to regroup, but now the enemy is back with a full 5 people strength, and we need to regroup ourselves, which is going to happen right now. 30 seconds resurrection time, so as you might have seen in the update, resurrection time is now linked to your level. So the higher the level, the longer you will need to be need to take a break before you enter the game again. And that's crucial. Like, that's quite a long time, and I think we're going to play a really important role in that team fight. So I used sprint in order to get to that team fight within time. Using my ultimate. Lumber is already dead, or close to being dead. So I was following up here, trying to save Isha or Omen, and that is the mistake here. I should have just turned back and get back to base in order to defend the base without risking to being killed here. I don't know what kind of took control over me. That was like a really big mistake. Now Lumber is on his own. I don't know if I would have been able to defend the base with him, like just the two of us, but at least we would have had a higher chance, because now we threw the game. I think that last scene that you have just seen in the video was completely bollocks. That was super stupid, and yeah, I was a little bit frustrated, but it was completely my fault. I overestimated my strength. I got carried away by the game a little bit. 13 kills, that's ace, 40% damage. That's also quite good with good participation. But all in all, I think I should have played the game a little bit cooler, a little bit more focused, and a little bit better in terms of positioning. And that could have been a win, because we had everything there to win the game. So thanks for watching. Have a nice evening. And yeah, stay cool. Don't let yourself get carried away, because that's going to throw you games, and it just happens from time to time. So thanks, and bye bye.